Now, the second part is the next part. The next type of data collection procedure is through experiments. Now, what is an experiment? An experiment is a scientific method of collecting data whereby you give the subjects a sort of treatment or condition. Then we evaluate the results to find out how the treatment affected the subjects and to discover the reasons behind the effects of such treatment on the subjects. Now, there are many, once you conduct your experiment, you need to think first, what is the treatment or what is the condition? Or there are many synonyms, like what's the intervention? So again, treatment, condition, or you can also call it intervention. What's the intervention? Okay, now, there are different types of experiments. Let me show you. Actually, these have different names, but let's not consider the names. Let's just have what will happen. Now, in the first one, it's treatment, then evaluation. For example, you expose them in one treatment, then we evaluate. Let me have you an example. The study of Kaiser and Emilio. You can have the treatment and evaluation. Like let them listen first to classical music, the other one to no music. Then after, we test their reading comprehension. Or another study, different students are reading a text in font style number 1, font style number 2, and font style number 3. Different groups, 3 groups. Then after reading, we check what is their reading comprehension level. The second one is pre-test, treatment, and post-test. For example, before you do the treatment, we check first the pre-test. What will happen? In the first part, I'll let them, I will test the reading comprehension. Then they will listen to a classical music. The other group will listen to no music at all. Then afterwards, we have the post-test again. What's crucial in this is we need to be sure that our pre-test instrument is parallel to our post-test instrument. Why? Dapat same ang level of difficulty. Same food of, ma'am, is it necessary that they have the same questions? For some, it's possible. But we also need to address the issue on exposure. It's possible that mitaas siya og score sa post-test because the student already read the questions during the pre-test and not because of your treatment. The next one, letter C, pre-test, multiple treatments, then post-test. Actually, this can also be done with, for example, pre-test, same set of participants. I think we have all for the test. Pre-test, then classical music, check again. Listen to no music, test again. But the same group of participants. The last one is the pre-test, treatment, immediate post-test, 6 months post-test, 1 year post-test. We call this one a longitudinal study. Why? Because you see, based on the word long, it means it is a long-term study. For example, I'll check if game-based learning has an effect on academic achievement. Now, what is game-based learning? Game-based learning is a way of learning wherein there are games in the class, or the teacher or the classroom is set up in a game setup. Example, na prizes, na rewards, there are level ups. These are game-based strategies. So, let's check first. Place score niya sa math be. Then, I'll have the game-based learning. Then after 2 months of game-based learning, I'll check again. What's their score in math? Then I'll have the retention period to check. After 6 months, I'll check again. After 1 year, I'll check again to see if my treatment has a short-term effect only, or if my treatment has a long-term effect, if it will have the same effect after 6 months or the same effect after 1 year. So these are different mixture components for a research study. Now, there are different quantitative scales of measurement. I discussed this in your stat class. It can be nominal, ordinal, interview, or ratio. In the nominal scale, these are criterion which are qualitative in nature. The language is the answer. Non-numerical. Example, religion. You have Catholic, Buddhist, Protestant, Islam. For gender, male or female. For position. So any answers that are non-numerical, we call them nominal. Now, how do we report this in our data? We can have them in fractions, percentage, or decimals. Like you say, 30 of the participants are males, while 25% are females. Or we will have the percentage based on their religion. So that's how we report descriptive. Remember, descriptive statistics. Example, you'll ask, what are the attitude of students towards math? How many said positive? How many said negative? How many said moderate? So it can be in a nominal scale. The next one is ordinal scale. In the ordinal scale, it can be numerical or it can be non-numerical, as long as there is an order or there is an hierarchical order of things, the rank. Example, small, medium, large. Non-numeric, but there is an order. Another, valedictorian, salutatorian, first honorable mention, second honorable mention, third honorable mention. That's non-numerical, but there is an order. Or first, second, third, fourth, or number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. It's numerical, but there is an order. That's why we call it in the ordinal scale. The next one, the interval and the ratio scale are both numeric. But what's the difference? In the interval scale, there is an equal difference. Example, we rate them strongly agree, agree, undecided, disagree, strongly disagree. Or how often will your teacher come late? Rare, never, rarely, sometimes, most of the times, all the time. So that one, if you have scales or Likert attitude scales, rating scales, these are interval scales. While for the ratio scale, the answer is a real number. For example, what's your grade in a math subject? 89. What's the difference between the ratio and the interval? In the ratio scale, 0 means zero, nothing. Example, how much is your allowance? Zero. So it means nothing. Therefore, it's in a ratio scale. But here in the interval, what is your IQ? A zero IQ doesn't mean you didn't know at all, right? Or what is your reading comprehension level? If you say zero, it does not mean that wala siya reading comprehension. It's possible that he did not know any of the answers to that set of questions. But if you'll give another set of questions, it's possible that a student can give the answer to that. So that's the difference between the two, interval and ratio. Now, again, let's have a very brief review on our different quantitative data collection procedure. We can do it through observation. You can also do it through surveys. It can be through a questionnaire or through an interview, an experiment. Oh, I forgot, the document review. How do you do the document review? If you say document review or content analysis, it is analyzing a specific document. It's usually used, for example, you will analyze a photograph, a film, a videotape, a painting, or you will go over a book or the civil registry, or you'll check all their birth certificates, you'll check their cards. That's a document review. So that are the basic quantitative data collection procedures.